Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to start the exercise of Unit 11, a folktale from subcontinent, the king and the tamarind drum. So first of all, we will start from the difficult words, their meanings and their use in the sentence. So the first word is vain, which means unsuccessful or of no value, something that is useless. Sentence: we should not spend our time in vain. Courtiers: a companion of a queen, king, or other ruler in their official home. Sentence: the courtiers of the king were very honest. Another word is boasted, which means to speak proudly about what you have done or own. We should not boast about our own success. Another word is shriek. Shriek means a shout or a loud cry. The sentence is: the girls started shrieking when they saw the snake. Fierce, physically violent and frightening. The boxers played fiercely. Tamarind, a type of it's basically a tropical tree. So the tamarind tree disclosed the secret of the king. Another word is turban, which means a head covering for a man that mostly people wear in villages or king, they wear it. Sentence: the groom was wearing a turban on his wedding day. Next word is begged, which means to make a strong and urgent request. The student begged the teacher not to expel him. Sun tanned, pleasantly brown skin caused by being in hot sun. When there is a brown shade on your skin, which is caused by directly exposing oneself to the hot sun. We got sun tanned in the summer. Horns: a hard, pointed, curved part that grows from the top of head of some animals. Markhor have very sharp, pointed, and large horns. Markhor is basically the national animal of Pakistan. So the next part is of comprehension. So the first question is: the king was a changed man after a long stay in the forest. List three changes in his character. So basically, after having to stay in the forest, what kind of changes were brought into the character of king? So after a long stay in the forest, the king grew stronger, more humble, and wise. The question that chilaka king chikala jungle ke pati shu noga ke kum dre خې تبدیلانې راغلي هغه والا کرکټر کې او کردار کې نو انسر دا چې ډیر کلونو پورې جنگل کې پاتې کېدنو نه بعد چې دا بادشاه ډیر هغه مضبوط شو هغه ډیر لکه همبل شو نورو خلکو طرف ته چې کنه رجحان شو وایز یو شعور پکې راغلو خلکو بری کې خپل ځان بری کې آس پاس نور شینو بری کې Why did his people grow poorer and sadder? The people of his kingdom grew poorer and sadder because he was just concerned about his beauty and how handsome he is, and neglecting the needs of his people. So basically, as we know that he was more concerned about his beauty, so that's why he was neglecting, he was not focusing on the needs of people. So that's why they became poor and sadder. Question دا چې لکه هغه والا سلطنت والا خلق چې د کنه بادشاه والا ویلې چې د کنه هغو خپاب او هغو چې د غربت کې لاړو نو دی ول جواب دا ده چې هغې کې بادشاه به ټول ټایم صرف ځان بري کې هغه سوچونه کولو بس هغه والا صرف یو چې کوم رجحان و هغه خپل خیستوالي پرې نو دی وجې نه هغه والا خلق چې د کنه خلکو طرف ته رجحان نه نو دی وجې نه خلق چې د هغې ډېر سفر شو What was the barber's secret and why did he tell it to the tamarind tree? The barber's secret was that the king have got horns on his head and told it to the tamarind tree because he can't hold the secret to himself. So basically as we saw that barber was Babar started laughing and he said that if he don't tell it to anyone, he can't survive. So that's why he told it to the tamarind tree afterwards, which tamarind tree sang it. The drum that was made out of tamarind tree sang it in front of everyone. The question دا چې لکه نئی ولا کوم راز و او هغه چې دا tamarind ولا بوټي ته دا خبره ویلې کړې وه. نو نئی ولا راز دا و چې بادشاه ولا چې کوم ښکارې راوتي وې صحیح شو او هغه tamarind بوټي ته خود ویلو چې ویلې چې هغه نه صبر نه کېدو چې زه دا خبره چاته وکم نو خلکو ته خو یې نشو کوی نو tamarind بوټي ته یې وکړو. A fairy overheard the king calling himself more handsome than even all other fairies. How did the fairy feel and what did he decided to do? When the fairy heard the king saying that he is more handsome than all the fairies, she became angry and decided to outgrow horns on king's head to make him learn a lesson. So basically, when the fairy heard the king's statement, he became angry and he decided to outgrow horns on the king's head so that can prove a beneficial lesson for him. The question دا ده چې یو fairy چې ده هغه څه کړي وو هغه څنګه هغه ته لګېدلي وو چې هغه بادشاه له خبره واورېده او بیا هغه څه وکړو نو چې کله fairy چې ده بادشاه ولا دا خبره واورېده نو ډېر غوسې کې شو او هغه سوچ وکړو چې د منې به زه ښکارې راخېجم. What was the king's punishment? The king's punishment was the horns on his head, due to which he felt so ashamed that he had to leave the palace and go to the forest. So basically, the king was punished by having horns grown on his head, and he felt so ashamed and he felt so uh, um, he became so angry when everyone got to know about him. So he left the palace and he went to the forest. چې کینګ ولا څه سزا وه کینګ ولا سزا دا وه چې هغه منې اخکرې چې دا راوخېدې او هغه دې خبرې دی چې دومره شرم محسوس کولو دومره به غوسه هغه ته راتله چې هغه خپل محل پرېښودلو او هغه جنګل ته لاړو. Why did the king send for the royal barber early in the morning? The royal barber was called early in the morning because he had to cut off or hide the horns on the king's head. So when king himself saw his horns on the head, so he called for the barber because he wanted him to cover his horns, and that's why he was called. Each king چې دا ویلې سبای چې دا کنه نه یې چې دا راوختی و نه یې خود راوختی و چې ویلې چې هغه غوښتو چې هغه ولا چې کوم ښکري دي هغه ته پټې کړي. Why did the barber cover his mouth with his hands when he saw the king? When the barber saw the king, he covered his mouth with his hands because he was shocked to find that the king had horns on his head. So basically, barbers were also surprised, and he was shocked to see that how the king has had horns on his head. چې نه یې چې دا ویلې خپل خولې باندې لاسونه کېښولو چې هغه کله بادشاه وکتو نو دې وجې نه ایښي وو چې هغه چې دی که نه چې کله نه یې بادشاه وکتو نو هغه دومره شاک کې لاړو او دومره پریشان شو چې ده منې څه چالو شولو نو एकदम سره چې دی که نه نو هغه هم پریشانه شولو. What did the king say he would do if the barber talked about it? The king asked the barber if he told this secret to someone, he would be beaten and hanged. So, as the king warned the barber that he should not tell this secret to someone else, and he should keep this as a secret, and because if he told it to someone, he would be beaten and he would be hanged, because this was how he was ashamed of himself. So question دا ده چې نه یې چې دا که نه بادشاه نه یې ته ویلي ویلي چې دا به چاته نه یې نو هغه بادشاه نه یې ته خود ویلي چې دا به چاته نه یې ویلی چې که هغه داسې کار وکړلو نو هغه به چې دا که نه بادشاه لټکو کوي یا به یې وایي نو دې وجې نه چې دا که نه غوښتو چې دا چې دا که نه دا یو راز په توګه کېږي. So after going through the part of questions, now it is the B part. The following statements tell you what the king was before his punishment for pride and what he became after he ran away to the forest. Put the statement in correct sequence in which they happened. So these are statements. These are mixed statements from the story. So we have to arrange them in order to get the understanding of what happened and the order of the sequence, the order of the story. So the first sentence is I'm the most handsome king on earth. He loves only himself, does not care about the welfare of his people, boasts he is more handsome than even the fairies. That day the king went down to a forest pool to drink water. I'm about to show you something, but if you talk about it to anyone, now go and tell the court I'm unwell. I will not see anyone. I won't stay in the palace a moment longer. He is now kind and humble, learns to love other creatures, becomes a loving king and rules his people wisely. So basically, this was the order of events in the story, and so that we get to see how the story developed. Da sida kana question da de question ke wajda kana da sentences arrange kai da se bo arrange kai chukumi तरीके sara story ki ragali dia lines no ma de sara number lagawali o do wala sequence mein khalida da order ki rasi. So this is the C part. State whether each of the following is true or false. The people of the kingdom were proud of their king. False. The bad-tempered fairy decided to punish the king. Tick. True. The barber laughed when he saw the king's horns. Tick. The barber told the secret to the tamarind tree. It is also true. So the D part is choose the best option to answer each question. Why did the bad-tempered fairy want to punish the king? Because he heard the king say that he looked better than all the fairies. What did the king do when he found out that he had horns? He called for the barber to cover his horns. Why did the king run off into the forest with the drum? He did so because the drum knew his secret. How did life in the forest change the king? He learned to respect other living things. So the next part is that of vocabulary. Use dictionary to choose appropriate word definition and identify the part of speech. So the first word is rushing, which means to hurry. Jaldi kavan. It is a verb. Barber, hairstyler, nahi. It is a noun. Trembling, shaking. लड़खड़ाकीदन चिलका दगेगी इंसान. It is also a verb. Humble, respectful. इज्जत kavan या चा तरफ इज्जत सरा पेश It is an adjective. Strong, powerful, mazboot. It is also an adjective. Palace, castle, mehalti. Noun, it's a noun. Surprise, amazement. It is also a noun. The another C part is rewrite 5 sentences from the story which have adjectives. Basically, adjectives modify the meaning of noun which is placed before noun. So the first sentence is a bad-tempered fairy happened to be flying by. So a bad-tempered is an adjective, fairy is noun, so that's why it is placed before a noun. I'm the most handsome king on earth. Handsome. Handsome is an adjective while king is a noun. The guards outside the king's room heard a loud shriek. Loud is an adjective while shriek is a noun. His only companion was the tamarind drum. Tamarind is an adjective, drum is the noun. His sun-tanned face looked back at him. Sun-tanned is an adjective here, while face is a noun. Filling the blanks with the adjectives given below. So these are some of the adjectives and we have to place them here in these blanks. So the first one is coffee has a bitter taste and people usually drink it with sugar or milk. Some people like their coffee black. In Italy, they drink very strong black coffee. Some people drink their coffee with hot milk. Coffee comes from coffee beans, and these beans grow on trees. Coffee trees need sunshine and water, so they grow well in warm countries. Coffee trees are very delicate and hard to grow, and picking the beans is a long process. The workers have a difficult job because they pick the beans by hand. This can take a long time. So as you can see how I have used these adjectives at different places while giving them a context and they're relevant in making their relevant use. Grammar. They have direct speech and indirect speech. Direct speech is consider the following sentence. He said the weather is stormy and the way is long. So the given sentence is in direct speech. We are directly quoting it. So that's why we are using the quotation marks, commas, and different things. Direct speech is something that have the exact words of the speaker. So we have quoted here the exact words of the speaker, and they have been put within quotation marks. So these are basically the quotation marks that we use for direct speech. There is a comma after said. We always use he said, she said, so we put a comma after it and then we put the quotation. The first word inside the quotation mark starts with a capital letter, and we also starts the first letter and their first with a capital. We write it in a capital form. So another one is indirect speech. Consider the following sentence. He said that the weather was stormy and the way was long. So now we are in indirect speech. There is no quotation marks, as well as comma after said are removed. We haven't put here a comma, and we are also not using any quotation marks, and the conjunction that introduces to us the word spoken by the speaker. The main thing is that we here put that. So that's why there is no quotation needed here. And there is also a change of sentence. Here is and is, both of them are changed into was. So it is also a change of sentence, and third form of verb is used is indirect speech. So now we will see the direct and indirect rules. Direct statement is that Rabia said we have to be back. Indirect statement, Rabia said that they had to be back. So now you can see the difference that in this sentence there are quotation marks, there is a comma, there is capital letter used here, and we are quoting the direct speech of the speaker. But here there is no quotation marks. We are also using that, and we are changing the form of verb, like have is changed into had, and so that's how indirect statement is. And there are also some of the reporting verbs like say, mention, that we use with the name, with the speaker. So here, as we can see, there is said. So these are known as reporting verbs. So some of the reporting verbs are say, mention, claim, asked, add, tell, admire, admit, consider, promise. So these are some of reporting verbs that are used before the quotation. Here are some of the rules to follow, like in present tense, he said, I love cake so much. Same, this sentence would be converted into past tense. He said that he loved. Now we would change love into loved, into third form, cake so much. Past tense is, he said, I loved cake so much, which we change into past perfect tense. He said that he had loved cake so much. Present perfect tense is, he said, I have loved cake so much. Here in present perfect tense we use have. In present, we use have and has, have with plural form and has with singular form, and in past sentence, we use had. So I had loved cake so much. He said that he had loved cake so much. Will future. He said I will love cake so much. Which in will would be changed into would. He said that he would love cake so much. So this would is used in basically past form. Imperative sentence. He said like me. He told to like him. So this is how so these are different sentences um, in which they have different forms and how they can be used. So we will be covering in the next exercise how these how to convert a tense into each other. So these are some of the time and space expressions which are changed when we change the direct speech into indirect speech. So for example, if we are saying yesterday, so when we are changing it into indirect speech, we will say the day before. Today, for today, we will use that day. Last week or month, the month before or the previous month. Tomorrow, the next day. Next month or year, the following month or year. This or these, this is changed into that, and these is changed into those. Here is changed into there, and now is changed into then or that moment. So this is the difference of how the verbs or the expressions that are used in direct speech are changed into indirect speech. So this is a short exercise in which sentences are given in direct speech and we have to change them into indirect speech. So for the first sentence is he said I have got a toothache. He said that he had got a toothache. So we are changing as this here he we are also changing I into he, have into had, and we are putting that. Mono said, I am very busy now. Mono said that he is very busy. Then we are, as we have studied, that now is changed into then. Hurry up, she said to us. She asked us to hurry up. So now this is actually an imperative sentence which is changed into infinitive sentence. This is give me a cup of water. He told her. He told her to give him a cup of water. She said, I'm going to college. She said that she was going to college. She said to me, thank you. So now this sentence is changed into she thanked me. So we would not be following the conventional rules in imperative sentences, which are changed into infinitive sentences. So this is how we can make use of them. I hope you have got the idea about these questions in the exercises. If you have any query related to vocabulary, grammar, or any question, you can put down in the comment section, and we'll see you in the next one.
फारूक फाउंडेशन ऑनलाइन स्कूल तमाम तलबा और तालिबात के लिए खुशखबरी। जदीद साइंस और टेक्नोलॉजी की मदद से क्लास अव्वल ता दहम ये तालीमी बोर्ड तैयार किया गया है जिससे आप मैट्रिक तक का इम्तिहान बगैर किसी ट्यूशन पास कर सकते हैं। मजीद KPK का निसाब भी मौजूद है। हमारी तमाम वीडियोस यूट्यूब पर मौजूद हैं। किसी किस्म की कोई फीस नहीं चार्ज की जाती। आप हमारे जूम प्रोग्राम में भी दाखिला ले सकते हैं। फारूक फाउंडेशन ऑनलाइन स्कूल।
इसको इस तरह पढ़ना है कि अभी तक हमने फ्रैक्शन के बारे में पढ़ा था कि 1/2 क्या होता है।
एज फॉलोज एक जनरल इक्वेशन हमें बताई गई है फोटोसिंथेसिस की, हम लोग उसको देख लेते हैं। यहाँ पे क्या है, कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड है हमारे पास
ना इसका, तो फिर ये बन जाता है, ये है सर्कल ही, ठीक है। अगर हम जोड़ देंगे तो ये सर्कल हो जाएगा, लेकिन अभी ये क्या है,
हीट उस हीट पर कम तरीक़ों ट्रांसफ़र की हर तरीके मंगवायो थर्मल
जो ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेट है, यहाँ पर मेन काम होता है कि पानी को अब्जॉर्प्शन का, यानी कि उसकी कंजर्वेशन का मेन काम कहाँ पर होता है, ये ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेट यानी वुमेन कैप्सूल